Were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my
GoPro.
What do you mean by that? You broke
GoPro.
broken.
what? A vertebrae or what
Well-
portion?
Screen.
You did that in sparring?
No, I did it by
Cycling.
an accident. The doctor discovered I was doing my
Wheelies.
2,500 a day with my 20-pound weight, and one day I couldn't.
Record videos.
And I asked the doctor, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Believe it or not, it's wearing your
GoPro.
broken slightly."
Hey everyone, I broke the rear screen on my GoPro and now I'm gonna try to fix it. And for that, I bought a replacement screen for GoPro 13 Hero Black. First, I started with applying some heat on the heat bed of my 3D printer with a setting of 75 degrees Celsius as ChatGPT suggested. Also, before heating, you need to have everything out of the GoPro, the battery, the SD card, and so on. And I use this little prying tool to get into the gap between the screen and the frame. I started with the corner where the hinge is because there is a little platform that I can start with. And I did the whole circle around the perimeter of the screen. Then I cut myself a couple times and started to unwrap the border with a screwdriver. I managed to cut the edges of the screen and the border came off. But then you need to find the gap and cut it as we did previously. Again, I used the screwdriver to lift the screen up. And finally, I got the whole thing open. I also made sure that I didn't damage any cables and it was working just fine. I've disconnected the cables and the screen itself. I took out my new screen and connected it into the same ports, but then I realized that there was no image. But then I pressed more firmly and it worked out. Then I took out my new screen and started to compare it with the old one. The new one didn't have a tin foil, the heat sinks, and the toothpaste, so I swapped them over. I also bent the cables into the groove as it was on the old screen. When I was done with the attachments, I noticed a familiar component that looked like a GPS antenna, which is a feature on GoPro 13 Black. Also, I noticed this small battery, which is powering a real-time clock module. My curiosity didn't stop here and I started to disassemble the whole thing to see what's inside. I enjoyed looking on a multi-dimensional schematics of the board, and it was pretty cool to see how every component was connected to each other. Then I found a little plastic chamber which is located near the speaker and the microphone, so I guess it meant to enhance the audio quality, but it was so big, as big as the main image sensor. Then I took the graving tool and started to clean up the edges for better adhesion. I assembled everything and started to apply the resin glue. The glue I used was the T700, which is suitable for such application as internet suggested. I squeezed out this thick layer of glue from both sides of the screen and the frame just to be sure. Then I started to press the screen into the place and clean up all the excessive glue. I made sure that everything works by placing a battery and turning on the GoPro, and it worked out. And actually I left the battery pack inside to spread the pressure on the screen more evenly. I wrapped the GoPro with the tape and placed it under the books for better pressure. And after 48 hours, it's done, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Look at the edges, not as brand new, but I guess I did a pretty good job. Thank you everybody for watching, and leave your comments if you have any questions. Yeah, see you next time.